My controller here. This is The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. A game that everybody's very familiar with, except this time we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be doing the Chinese bootleg version of this game. So this is a game that came out for the Famicom in China. In the early 90s, it turns out there was, we'll get started while I talk through this. There was a ban on video game consoles in China. And some enterprising Chinese person found a way around this by instead insisting that the Famicom itself was a computer, not a gaming system. And so, as a result, you could get an NES, but that was it. No SNES, no Game Boy, no Genesis, nothing like that. So, due to some lax copyright laws, and we have a number of titles that were not available to the Chinese public, such as Link to the Past. And so there were bootleg versions made. Other famous bootlegs include Pokemon Yellow, Final Fantasy VII, all made for the NES instead of their actual system. So this is Link to the Past. This game is absolutely phenomenal. There's a lot of broken things with it. The biggest difference that you'll notice is Link is yellow. Pretty much that's the only difference between this and the Zelda game. They did a good job of mirroring what was going on in Link to the Past. So, you know, we're going through, this is the escape sequence, and we get the sword from the uncle. And, the enemy placement is a little bit different. So we got some jellies, we got some mini Helmosaurs in here instead of the normal, guards. Link has a health bar instead of hearts. He also has a magic meter up there in the top left, you can see. But, we gotta find the big key, we gotta go through and, use all the small keys that we can. And so what I'm doing here is, by lifting up all these pots, I'm looking for coins. We're gonna eventually need 500 gold in order to buy the flippers. And so we're looking for coins. Now, thankfully, coins give you more than just one gold per coin. In the overworld, they give you 10 coins, 10 gold, which is, good, but thankfully, in the underworld, they give you 237. No, 267, excuse me. So we need 2 underworld coins in order to buy the flippers. So that's what however, I can't pick up pots while I have Ice Princess Zelda following me. So we make our way to the back of the throne room here, and there's a secret wall that we're informed about, so we're going to go right back through there. And here's a puzzle, no snakes. Just hit both buttons, and we are in the sanctuary. So kind of an abbreviated escape in actual Link to the Past. It's going to take you around 6 minutes. In this, it takes me a little over 3. And I split when I exit. So I did do a glitch there as well. If you blinked, you missed it. And basically, at the end of talking to the priest, I hit A an additional time. And what that's going to allow me to do is bypass some dialogue a little later on. So I'll be able to get to Aghanim's Tower a little bit later on. A little bit quicker. And this game has a lot of really tight story triggers that you can't really avoid. So we're going to be talking to NPCs that allow us to continue on our way. I'm talking to the blacksmith there in order to go through a sword upgrade fetch quest of sorts. So we're going to talk to him. We got a couple more chores here in Kakariko to do. We got to talk to this blue guy here. If we don't talk to that blue guy, then we will not be allowed to talk to Srihasala, and we will subsequently not be allowed into Eastern Palace. So important to talk to him. Now we're going to the sick kid's house. There's a guy here. He tells us he's being held captive. We set him free. Now we're going to go back and talk to the blacksmith in order to progress. So fans of Link to the Past will recognize all of this. We actually have to talk to him 4 times. And there we go. So fans of Link to the Past will recognize all of this. This is all like clearly somebody played the actual Link to the Past before making this game. But everything's just a little bit off. Everything's just a little bit weird. You know, you can kind of walk through enemies like that when they're moving. And why is there a Helmasaur here? And just all sorts of things that are just not quite right. But we'll see. This game ends up being pretty broken. How am I glitching past the guards? So I'm not actually glitching past the guards. You just kind of get to walk through enemies whenever they're moving. It's just how the game works. The game is not the most thoroughly coded thing in the world. As far as run safety, we're going to see me. I'm going to take a heal basically at every point I can in a safe run. So I'm going to, there's fairy fountains throughout the world that we'll go through. Birds right there are the most dangerous enemy. And just because in the overworld you don't have any iframes and birds can just follow you wherever you want. Same thing with those jellies, any flying enemy really. So we're going to go to Eastern Palace first. Eastern Palace is the first dungeon in both this and the real version of Link to the Past. We talked to Shrahasala, who's going to open up Eastern Palace for us. Without talking to him, we'll just be stuck at the door. So those tight story triggers come into play. Down the stairs. This game's a little bit clunky to control, but we'll get through. And into Eastern Palace. So, as I said before, we're still looking for those coins. We need 2 coins. I haven't picked up any yet. Usually I have 1 by now. Alright. So I'll just pick up pots on my way through this dungeon. It's a heart. Still no good. Much faster to clip through the enemies than it is to actually kill them. Right now, with just the level 1 sword, it would require 5 hits per enemy. No, let me free! Alright, well they lost interest. Didn't take too much damage there. I really want to avoid taking damage just because of the boss. Alright, there's 1 coin. That's not bad. So we're actually mirroring what we do in the actual vanilla game here. We gotta go to the right side, get the key under the pot over here. There's my 2nd coin. You can get that pot by just standing near it with another pot that gets thrown, and use that small key to continue on over the bridge into the room with the big key. Now the big key is interesting. In the vanilla game, what happens is you're presented with a room with a lot of enemies. You kill all the enemies, and then you're able to step on a button, which lets a chest appear. And in this game, it's the same thing, except it's really hard to make chests appear, so they're just invisible, so we just go over and open the chest. And pick up our bow. Now the bow is not actually used for a very long time in this game. It is only used to fight Ganon, so we're gonna save that bow until later. Now the hardest fight in the game, which is Armos Knights. So we're gonna do a lot of damage boosting here, and I am unable to press this fast enough. The reason we do this, and we're only hitting 3 of them, is because we only need to hit 3. Because once we kill 3 of them, the 4th one will despawn and a new enemy will spawn. And the reason we're doing it like this with the damage boost is because we can get 2 hits off per cycle instead of just 1. But we're going to switch to the 1 cycle in a second here. Yeah, we're just going to do 1 cycle now. I'm just going to jam on this button. We will have to take some damage coming out of Eastern Palace. And before we get the next heal, I'll show you exactly what I mean in a moment. So you can see there's a little bit of jank here, not very challenging boss AI, not a lot of feedback here as far as am I actually doing damage or not, or what's going on, but they'll start to fall soon enough. Alright, and there's 3 of them, and this guy should not take very long. So we defeated the dungeon, we got the first pendant, and now we will respectfully exit the dungeon manually. So, real sense of realism here for this game. Oh boy, these nerds. So as we're going out now, our next destination will be Trahasala to pick up the boots, and that's where this speed run really starts to take off. The boots are, you know, in Link to the Past, they're used to great effect to really move around, and you'll see things in vanilla Link to the Past like spin speed and such. Here it's going to be a little bit different. We're going to use the boots to go faster. I'm going to use the boots to go a lot faster. I'll show you exactly what I mean. As I mentioned before with the coins, where you get a certain amount on the overworld, you get a certain amount in the underworld. Everything really has two different... everything in this game is really two sets of rules. An overworld set of rules and an underworld set of rules. And speed is no different. Excuse me. So we're going to take our boots, and we're going to go back towards Eastern Palace as we take more damage. We should have plenty of health, though. And so if you are on a slow tile, which is one of these stairs, and you dash into a dungeon, and then save and quit, so we'll reset the console there. Now we're going to reload the game, and there's a little bit of map that happens. So I'm still moving normally there, but here I'm moving 4x, and now I'm moving 8x. So I'm moving 8x speed at the overworld. Definitely something we're interested in. Disadvantages to this glitch: if an enemy touches me while I'm on the stairs, the game hardlocks. And that's pretty much it. Also, it's really hard to control. We could go faster. We could actually go 16x. Excuse me. But then we start moving 2 tiles at a time, and we skip right over load zones. So, don't want to go any faster than this. So with our newfound speed, we are going to go over to Desert Palace. We're going to talk to this guy first. That completes our sword upgrade quest. Now we have the level 2 sword. Obviously, in order to get into the desert, we need the book. Can't get the book without talking to the librarian first. I think that's who that guy is. And so now we're going to go back to the library. To town, basically. And we're going to go to the librarian to get the book, which will let us into Desert Palace. This is way better than spin speed. Beautiful. So this game is you know, perfect for a bad games block. It's perfect for a Zelda block. You know, you can run it immediately after Link to the Past, so everybody's even more familiar with it. All right, so we get the book. Now we can get in the desert. All we have to do is stand here and use the book. We're back inside. And we're a little bit slow again, but that's okay. Canceling your dash is a mysterious art, and it doesn't always work. So sometimes you are going to see me run into a wall. It's not really a combo of the two. It's more just Link to the Past, and they were doing it without regard to quality, really. They just knew that Link to the Past itself was very popular. To the best of my knowledge, Link's Awakening did not have an influence on this version of the game. Dash, please. So we got our small key off the torch. Now we get our big key from the back of that room. And now we're going to go pick up the gloves. We do need the gloves in this run. Just once, and this is going to be a theme where we need each of the items just once from each of the dungeons, and even some dungeons we won't need it all, and crash into the wall, that's fine. This music's also great, as I'm sure you hear. It was like leftover music from some other game that they had. Dash, please. And there's not really any other sound effects. Your sword will make a sound effect on the overworld, but not in the underworld. So we get the gloves. Now we can escape from our little rock prison here. Gotta be careful with our massive speed not to fall off the edge. Ooh, there's another coin. Oh, now we have more than we need. But that's okay. Yeah, straight on through, and we're gonna go fight Landmo now. So it's just one Landmo instead of 3. And thankfully we have the level 2 sword, so we're just gonna sword him a bunch. I can't hit him there. Alright, that's fine. This fight is not too bad. The Armos fight was definitely a lot worse, so we've done it. We've defeated Landmo. And we will respectfully leave the dungeon once again. We don't want to dash out because that'll cancel our overworld super speed, but we do want to get out of here quick. Alright, on to Tower of Hera. We're going to pick up the flippers on our way by. I'm going to pick up some health too. Might as well. Run safety is important. You can save it pretty much any time, so run safety is not an issue. In fact, I'll make use of a save. There's a sort of dangerous part coming up. The controls for this game are very touchy. If I were to try to dash with the boots on the overworld, it would work, and my speed, my super speed would be canceled. So I'm gonna actually save right here, and then try to. All right, good. So I didn't even need to do that. Sometimes you can. Like, you hold A for, you know, just one too many frames and suddenly you're dashing instead of just throwing the rock, so. Gonna go see Zora. So King Zora says, hey, do you have 500 rubies? If you do, I'll give you some flippers. And we say, yes. And we do, in fact, have 500 rubies. He says, that's great. Have some flippers. He doesn't take any rubies from us. He doesn't take any money from us. He just wants to make sure that we're not poor. And this fountain here just gives us a sword upgrade. So we got the flippers now. We got the level 3 sword. And we got everything we need to go to Tower of Hera. We are going to take a heal here. It is very important to have as much health as possible for Tower of Hera. The reason being is because Moldorm is a very difficult boss. Now, I am playing on an actual cart here. An actual, you know, Chinese bootleg Link to the Past for the NES cart. These are not very common, so you're not going to get runners for this game very often. But unfortunately, Moldorm is bugged on the actual card. So if you play this on an emulator, even this doesn't happen. Where Moldorm will not take damage from anything. If you try to damage Moldorm with the fire rod, with the sword, with the cane of Samaria, with basically anything, the game will hard lock. And so the only way to deal damage to Moldorm, I'm going to switch the mirror here, because obviously we can use the mirror to get from the light world to the dark world and vice versa. And we're in. The game will hard lock. The only way to deal damage to Moldorm is dashing. Alright, so you got that key. You saw I spent an extra couple of seconds there just sitting on next to the key. That's because I was holding A the entire time. For every frame that I hold A, I get an additional key in my inventory. So we don't need to get keys anymore for the entire run. That's exciting. Small keys are more Zelda 1 style where they are shared between dungeons. Big keys are unique to dungeons, so we're going to need to pick some of those up still. Alright, and we're just going to continue with this. These crystal switches are very touchy. If you hold A for more than one frame, they'll just keep flipping back and forth, so I have to delicately tap on them, and sometimes I have to walk back and do it again. Doing okay on health here. And you can see my accidental dashes while I'm trying to throw the pot. one more room here, and then the next one is Moldorm. We'll save just in case. And here we go. So I can only dash into Moldorm. The hitbox is actually just below the tail. Sometimes I can't cancel my dash. It's very mysterious. What a game. And just a couple more hits. So we haven't picked up the item from this dungeon yet. It is the Moon Pearl still. So we will need to pick that up in order to not be a bunny in the Dark World. The Dark World and the Light World are very similar. Still not dead. You should be just about dead here. This is a great game, man. I don't know what you're talking about. There we go. Alright, Moldorm's dead. Beautiful. So, just like in the vanilla game, we need to fall down the right hole in order to pick up the Moon Pearl. So we'll do that on our way out. That was actually a pretty good Moldorm fight. It was a very safe Moldorm fight. Alright, hit this switch on our way out. What are we doing on time? Ooh, I think I'm doing okay. And back down the mountain. I have done many more runs of this than my splits would imply. I've just been doing a lot of runs on emulator. Like I said, this cart is very rare. They just do not show up very often. Most people just don't even know they exist. So now, after we've done the 3 pendant dungeons, it's time for the Master Sword. The Master Sword, I mean, there is a sword pedestal here, but the Master Sword's not there. This guy has it. He found it, he pulled it out of the pedestal, and he doesn't want it, so he gives it to us. So we're not even the savior here. That guy is, but he doesn't really want anything to do with that, so. And now we're going to go fight Aga. So first we're going to run over to the east here and get a quick heal, because we're being safe on this run, so I don't have to explain this twice. Oop, too far. Look at my timer. So the climb up Aga's Tower, normally a long one in vanilla Link to the Past, a little bit shorter here. I didn't really feel like implementing the whole reflecting projectiles thing. Who can blame them? Dash, please. Use the mini Helmosaurs guarding the castle again. That's good. Dash straight up the middle. So, we have the level 4 sword, we have everything we need to fight Aghanim. You can never damage him when he's down there. There we go. Taking a little bit of damage, but damage doesn't really matter here. We'll get a heal afterwards. Alright, that's it for Aga. I'm still ahead after losing a lot of time. I got really bad RNG on that fight, but it's not a fight that's going to make or break anything as far as a marathon's concerned. And we're going to head on over to Palace of Darkness. We are in the Dark World right now, despite it looking exactly the same as the Light World, except for the palette colors. Oh no, we don't want to go this way. There's dangerous things over there. We're going to go this way instead. Alright, and we're into Palace of Darkness. Now, I know what you're thinking. This looks a lot like Thieves Town, and not Palace of Darkness. Correct. The Dark World dungeons aren't really always in the right place here. So, but we'll make do with what we have, and we will fight in Palace of Darkness / Thieves Town, whatever this place is. We do have plenty of keys because of the Tower of Hera key glitch. So we're just moving right on. Now my sword can actually kill things, so it becomes a little bit faster sometimes to kill them than walk through them. And oh man, look at these conveyors. Oh, look at that screen scroll. Alright, here we go. Alright, we did it. We're very slow right now. Get that. Dash. Alright, well there's Blind. Ready to be rescued. We don't have to rescue her though, so we won't. The boss has no problem spawning if we don't bring her. So we'll just keep going. And on to the boss fight. Now this boss is a little bit difficult sometimes because it moves around a lot. So we just pause and unpause, and that resets Blind's position. And that does end up being the fastest way to kill it. 9 times out of 10. There it goes. And now we will once again respectfully leave the dungeon. None of the dungeons are very long, especially not with being able to avoid skipping every small key and most big keys. And overworld movement is thankfully very fast due to the overworld speed glitch. As a result, you get yourself a pretty good speed game. And that's it for that. So we're gonna head to Skullwoods. Skullwoods is in its correct place. Ooh, almost soft locked. Gonna wait there. Alright, on to Skullwoods. So Skullwoods is in the northeast of the northwest of the map. I know my left and right. Who's that rat doing? Get out of here, Poe. And we're falling down. Ooh, we gotta avoid the spike. Gotta be quick to avoid that spike. Alright, so we get the big key. The only reason we get the big key here is so that we can get the open the big chest, which in Skullwoods obviously contains the fire rod. We do need the fire rod. We don't need to use the fire rod, but we do need to have the fire rod in our inventory in order to defeat the boss of Ice Palace later on. And if we don't have it, then the boss will just be invincible, and the game won't really tell you why. So there's the fire rod. Thanks for the fire rod, but we will never use that. So I can cancel my dash. Perfect. And on to the Mothula fight. It's usually a big pain to go all the way around and get that small key there, but nothing we have to worry about. Oh no, I'm into a hole! They forgot to program that hole. So you just get to walk out of it, which is funny. Killing Mothman. A little bit easier without moving spikes or tile floors or anything. So, make quick lurk of Mothula, get our second crystal. On our way out of here. Alright. So now we have to use the mirror again. Get back to the light world. There's those wall masters. hanging out in the forest. And next up is Mire. So we're going to head back towards where Desert Palace was in the Light World to do Misery Mire. And Misery Mire is not Misery Mire, it is Palace of Darkness. So, all you Palace of Darkness Bootleg fans, days until Bootleg Randomizer. I'll talk to Vitor. I will not be developing a randomizer for this pile of steaming garbage. But it is a very entertaining game, especially for fans of Link to the Past. But it's also entertaining, just you get to move at 8x speed and the most ridiculous jank. Alright, so we made it into Palace of Darkness. We have our small keys already. We will need the hammer out of this dungeon in order to defeat the boss. And that's it. That's all we need the hammer for. But it is important to defeat all the bosses. Nope, couldn't cast my dash. Plenty of small keys. Oh man, this maze is much easier when it's lit up and the enemies aren't as difficult. So we got the hammer. Hammer's going to allow us to kill Helmasaur, and that's about it. Straight through these rooms. Equip our hammer. Now, Helmasaur himself is a tough guy. We're going to have to actually hammer him 100 times. So we'll just go ahead and do that. His tail will be able to damage us, so if we came in here with really low health, we would have a problem, but we have more than enough health. This is not exactly a dangerous fight. Or a difficult one. It's just difficult on the select button, because that's the use item button. Hey, we did it! We beat the Helmasaur King. Alright. It's time to leave. And we are going to go to Swamp Palace next. Swamp Palace, home of the hookshot. Hookshot is actually an item that is useful multiple times throughout this game. So that's good. So right in the swamp, no need to mess with the dam or anything like that. Just get to go right into the dungeon. Again, there are going to be switches to flood the floor or open stuff. The switches are just as touchy as the crystal switches, so we may be going back and forth with those. And come on. There we go. Alright. Ooh, I ran into this pipe. That's okay, doesn't matter. Take the big key, and now we're going to go pick up our hookshot. And then fight Argus. Now, Argus will not have little things that we can peel off of him. Equip the hook shot. Oh, look at that hook shot animation. He's kind of slimmed down from the original version, but, you know, looking good. Still got one puff with him. And we're out of here. Time to respectfully leave. Next stop is going to be Ice Palace. Oh man, Crazy Jesse's here. Crazy Jesse is the world record holder. He's in my chat right now. You know I've stayed up too late when there's an Australian in my chat.
Has come to burn at the knees.
Veloso with 9 months. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that. With the Twitch Prime subscription too. Enjoy your emote. So yeah, so we're gonna go through Ice Palace. Ice Palace is has the blue mail, just like in the original. But we don't need the blue mail. We're tougher than that. Oh, Jesse, you missed my my Moldorm fight. I actually did it. I had a good Moldorm. Go right through. Sweet, man. I'm glad your internet's doing well. I am planning on submitting this game to GDQ. I don't know if it's going to get it, but I'm hopeful. I know they like the Link to the Past over there at GDQ. And this is Link to the Past. So as we make our way through Ice Palace, we're going to fight Cold Stare. Got to go pick up the big key in order to get to him, unfortunately. So we're going to do that. We're going to go across these spikes. These spikes will take our magic away. I don't know why. We don't use magic in this run, so it doesn't matter. Dash. They did. They did try their very best. And also, I'll be honest, Armos is the biggest time loser for me. I just am bad at Armos. I can't hit the A button fast enough. Again, so we would have to solve a puzzle where we have to drop a block down, but everything's just invisible. And so we just go up to the right tile and hit the button. And now to fight Cold Stare. Thankfully, we have the Fire Rod, so we don't need to... So we will be able to damage Cold Stare. Pretty good Cold Stare fight. You never get away from this. And now we'll leave. Out of here. And you can see even how some of these rooms like look vaguely like what they're supposed to, and some just don't. Oh, look at that falling into the hole. Alright, we're out of here. We're just gonna wait so we can heal here, and now that is everything in the light and dark world. So now we have the ability to enter Ganon's tower. You'll notice that there were a couple of dungeons skipped. Yeah, don't worry about those. You know, the NES is only so big, so we are gonna move on to Ganon's tower. I do not have the mirror equipped, so I need to equip that. Get back to the light world to get back to Death Mountain. Yeah, I figured that was the case. Unfortunately, it's not a cheap trip. But the advantage is you get to live in Australia, which is pretty sweet. Okay, there we go. So we've made it into Ganon's Tower. Ganon's Tower looks a lot like Misery Mire, the original game, and in fact it is. So let's take a trip through Misery Mire. Now this room, this game has a room. Now speedrunners love to nickname things. They're very good at nicknaming things. And there's a room in this game, in this dungeon specifically, called the Crash Room. And it is called the Crash Room because if you go into that room, your game crashes. So we will not be going to the crash room today. Instead, we will be working around the crash room. But we do need the big key here. I think this is a good spectacle. Like, you put it right after regular Link to the Past, people will, you know, be able to follow it just fine, even if they're not fans. Put it in a bad games block, and, like, it's fine. Here we have Vitreous. This game is an absolute riot from the first time I saw it to still today after running it a bunch. Nope, that was not good. Alright. We've defeated the boss of Ganon's Tower. We have everything we need to go fight Ganon himself. Wait, I don't want to go to the crash room. Crash room south of here. Oh, we don't want to go to the crash room. Oh, the music has nothing to do with anything. I just wish there were sound effects in the game. Yeah, you know, it's always been, you know, it's not the only game I'm submitting to GDQ, but I think it's a good length. I think it's a funny run. I think we could do good commentary on it. I just think it's got a lot going for it. Alright, hookshot across. Look at that hookshot animation. Alright, we're done Ganon's Tower. Oh, no, we want to go this way. So we're running a little low on health, but that's okay. We don't really need health for the rest of the run. We get a full heal going into Ganon. So I like the turtles. I like the turtles, how they flip over when they're turning. See, look at that turtle. Go away, turtle. Alright. Still in the Dark World. I know it looks like a light world, but you're gonna have to trust me. This is the Dark World. Coming up on the end of the run. We'll get our bow out here. And here it is, the final fight. We just have to arrow Ganon a bunch. Oh, he would. Wow, he likes staying up top today. Great Ganon RNG. Not too difficult, not very threatening. Just gotta make sure I don't forget the bow out of Eastern Palace in order to beat him. And that's gonna be the game. As soon as we get to the congratulations screen. Now, there it is. So I PB'd. Awesome. So it's 43 minutes, 17 seconds. I am pretty confident that I can get this done in 45 minutes pretty much every time. Especially with a little bit more practice. I think this is a 45-minute game. It's absolutely hysterical. Any fan of Link to the Past is going to recognize everything in it. As you know, kind of this weird, bizarro world of Link to the Past. Any casual viewer out there is going to really enjoy just the fact how goofy it is, moving at 8x speed, getting infinite keys by holding A, and just the whole thing is incredibly goofy, and it's a lot of fun to run. It's a lot of fun to watch. So that's you've run out of arrows in that fight? Ooh, I've never run out of arrows yet. But if both you and ACM are running out of arrows, I will be saving before that fight from now on. It's also very marathon safe, like I said. You can save anywhere. And it'll just put you right back in. So, and it's a rare game. It's a very rare game. So I just got my copy. I've been running on emulator before that. And so we'll be able to run on an actual NES. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Thank you, everybody in chat, for watching too. That's awesome.